After weeks of extensive searching, Carlton have appeared to have nominated their next coach to lead them forward. It is unheralded coach and newcomer to the game, Daniel Williams, and we are going live now to the press conference that's held at Archon Park to hear from him and hear what he's got in store for the Blue Baggers. Hello everyone, it's an absolute honour to be here. It's kind of a dream come true to be here, sat before you as dream of a coach of this great football club. I'm excited to hit the ground running, really confident with the list we've got and the plan that's been presented to me in the trade and draft period coming up. And I'm excited that we can awaken what I believe is a sleeping giant and deliver a club that's not only important to the local community, but one that's we can be proud of again, and have that arrogance and swagger back at Archon Park. I'll take a few questions.
Well, Dan, with all the formalities out of the way with regards to the announcement, I think on a more personal note, where did your love for the game stem from?
Well, I mean, obviously I come from the round ball game, a little bit different, obviously, to AFL. I kind of fell in love with it very quickly. I have a very family connection to this football club. I find that I was fortunate enough to marry into AFL football family, and the love has grown exponentially from there. So much so that I think that AFL gives something that not many other sports do. It's iconic to Australia. It is a real lineage, a real who's who of Australian culture, and I'm incredibly honoured not just to be a part of it as a fan, but obviously now leading this great football club into the next great phase and a dynasty that will really be remembered for many years.
And what's your vision for the club, moving forward within the next couple of years from a short-term perspective and from a long-term perspective? And how do you see this team playing its football when it goes out onto the park?
Great question. I think short-term is get this club back into finals. That has to be the initial aim. I'm not putting a number on that. We know what is required, and I think this list, as it is before we have the trade and draft window, is primed to go. It's a club that I think has been hit from pillar to post, from the media, from outside influences, but I think pound for pound this list is ready to go. And I think when we look at the other teams that are in and around us, I think that we've got no fear that if we play the football that we know we can play and play in the ability of what this side has, that there's no reason why we're not a final side. Short term is to get the club back into finals, get the fans used to that, get the fans enjoying wins. Winning football matches can do so much, I think, to the mindset, not just of the players, but the whole establishment and the whole thing that Carlton Football Club stands for. That is the initial aim, straight away get into finals, and I have no shadow of a doubt that that will happen this year. And from there, it's cementing that. It's not allowing this club to ever fall back into that situation where 13th, 14th is levels of acceptability. I think that the whole history of this football club, for me, personally says to me, it's a finals side. We're a huge club. And that, moving forward, is the message to not just the players, not just the fans, but more importantly, everyone that associates themselves with the C monogram, whether that's in a paid capacity or in a love capacity. That 8th is the bare minimum requirement of this football club, and that is what I intend to instill, not just into the players, but into the media and the wider AFL world.
Dan, you've obviously had an in-depth look at the playing list before you've put pen to paper. Where do you see the strengths lie within this playing list, and where do you see the weaknesses lie?
Well, I think the last couple of years you see in patches this football club can defend well, it can attack well. It's getting the mixture together. We've got the ingredients there, I think, on the list already to compete without any additional influences. Obviously, you're always looking to better yourself. That's a huge, huge thing to actually reach the top of this mountain. The AFL is a marathon, not a sprint. I think in the short term, what it is about bringing it back to basics and not overcomplicating it. I see this side in the year just gone. It felt like it was very overcomplicated. And these boys are natural footballers, as anyone who comes through the AFL system is. They know how to play football. They've done it the majority of their lives, and they're living a dream. My role here really is to strip it back to basics and really get this club on the front foot from an avenue that there isn't too many thoughts. We know that if these kids play on instinct, and also now they're becoming very, very mature age footballers, they play on instinct, they're fine. They know what to do. So basically we're going to be stripping it back and really look moving forward to simplify this so it is a real manageable game of football for the boys.
Dan, within the Carlton supporter base, there's obviously a growing frustration with regards to how young talent within the football club is developed. What's your mantra with developing young elite talent on the football park, and how do you go about it?
Development has been an issue that I think this football club is synonymous with. I think it's all we ever hear about. I think in the press love to talk about it, the fan base do, and that's because I listen more to the fan base than I do paid journalists, because at the end of the day, they're here with the heart. And my role here is to kind of steady the ship. It's very important. It's almost like, you're kind of a nanny for a lot of people's baby. And I think with development, it's important to mix these youngsters with senior experience. That is, for me, the bread and butter of it. But you can't teach experience without throwing people in there. So there's going to be some tough conversations, but I am of the belief that if you're old enough, you're good enough. They come through the system, and the minute that I put their name on the team sheet to play on the weekend, that is because they are ready. And that, for me, is beyond question from anyone. If your boss says that you are ready to go, you're ready to go. So in terms of development, for me, it's exposing these players to what they can handle and also what they can't handle yet, because they know once they get the experience, they can do. It's about learning to make the mistakes, but knowing that mistakes aren't bad if we don't rectify them and repeat them. And that is where we will be as a football club. We will back these youngsters in, we will back our own in, and we will look to give them the support needed so they can flourish into fantastic footballers, which they are. They can do it on the training track, and they will be doing it on game day. And I think we'll shock a few people, I really do.
What was your first impression when you opened the doors to Archon Park and had a look at the place?
It's a magical place. It's the thing of dreams, isn't it? I mean, we've got Old Trafford is called the Theatre of Dreams. I think for a lot of Carlton fans, this is the Theatre of Dreams, Archon Park. It's a privileged place to be when you think that the heritage of this football club, in my opinion, is the AFL. Without the AFL, there is no Carlton, but without Carlton, there is no AFL. All the heroes, all the icons genuinely have Carlton involved in them, and there's something magical about that. It's the mecca of football, and unfortunately it's ascertained a few cobwebs. It's ascertained a reputation where I think the respect has gone from the other AFL departments, but it's never lost from Carlton fans. And I think you've only got to see that these fans sign up in droves year on year, no matter what the results are. And it's about rekindling that atmosphere so the other AFL clubs know who we're doing. And I think that's a really important job that I have. It's about not just earning the respect. I think that's selling it short. It's taking the respect. Respect is there to be earned, but it can be taken. And we will be aiming to hit the ground running and take the respect back. Too long, I think this club has been the whipping boy of the press and other football clubs. And this is my message to them. This stops today. It stops today. Now I'm here, no longer will this fly. This is a great football club, and it's about making that greatness remembered in Australia and above and beyond that. Obviously, you've brought in a few new people. Can you just explain to us the dynamic of that and how you think that will help you do your job, like you say, of making finals? Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think first and foremost, when I look at the backroom staff, obviously, I am a foreigner to the game, and that's no surprise just when I open my mouth. You've got to bring that experience, and it's about dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So obviously, I'll be working extensively with Robert Harvey, who comes across. He will also mirror up as our mids and stoppage coach. We've brought Fraser in, Josh Fraser, obviously managed the Bull Ants for a lot of time, so a long time he'll know this young list and be able to fill me in on anything that I've missed. He's also going to mirror and help Cruiser out, who's been retained as the ruck coach. Matt Murphy comes in as midfield and offence coach. I think it's important that we try and keep a bit of familiarity, also bringing in a little bit of knowledge. He'll work extensively as well with the VFL list to really instill what it is about and what we want as a football club. That is more important. I think that we have to know what we want, and that needs to be transcended. Eddie Betts is going to go into a VFL development role and also will mirror up with our small forwards as a coach. And we've got Gary Ayres coming in to help with the back line. He'll also work alongside Cade Simpson to really bring that. Obviously, Luke Power, Matty Cruiser, Tobin stays as well. Unfortunately, we let go of Cam Bruce, but Dan Keefe as well has a real good reputation with the players, and he will stay on as well in the same role. So I'm confident in our back room that we have got what we need, and I'm looking forward to hitting the ground running. I will be as open as I can with you guys and girls, particularly with the fan base. I think it's important that the fan base have an influence as well in everything we do here as a football club, because at the end of the day, that's what we're judged by. In my opinion, we're judged by three things as a football team, and that is: one, our win-loss ratio. That is important. Two, our success on the field. And number three, it's what our fans think of us. At the end of the day, they're more than ticket holders. They are shareholders of this football club, and if you're not playing a brand of football, A, that doesn't resonate with them, and B, doesn't make them smile, there is no point in doing this role. So that is where the focus lies, and that's what this team of players that brought in, for me, helps make us a better side and helps us hit the ground running as soon as possible. Tell us a little bit about the philosophy of what Carlton will be playing from now on. I don't want to go too much into it, but obviously what I believe is I'm more of a handball heavy coach. I think that when the ball is out of your hands and in the air on your foot, it's up in contest, it's up in decision, and I think that ball retention is the most important part. I think handball is the most underused aesthetic in AFL, and we will be looking to utilise the handball for two reasons. One, it keeps us in position, and two, it helps us find gaps, and that's what we're going to be looking for. We're going to be an offensive side. I think that's very important in today's game. We're going to give it a go in all games, and it's about playing with no fear, and that is a hugely important thing for me, that this side plays without fear from the ground up, and starting from the first game, which is coming up in pre-season. So they've got a bit of a break now. We have the fun stuff where I'll be working extensively with the list management. My personal philosophy is I'm going to have a finger in all the pies. I want to know what's going on from the ground up, and I want the players and also the entire football club to know that they can come to me, and more so the fans as well know that they can come to me as well. Any idea is a good idea. I think that's important. There's always opportunity to learn, but my personal style here is obviously we tackle hard, we are firm to the ball, but in movement with the ball, it's important about keeping retention. It's harder for them to play the game when we're controlling possession. Thanks very much. Cheers. Hopefully you all enjoyed that, guys and girls. Please drop a like, please drop a subscribe. A lot of effort has gone into this. We've got some really good episodes coming up. We're using a few bits of software as well to see how I get on and have a bit of fun with it. There'll be a lot of twists and turns. Looking forward to doing this in the off-season, having a bit of fun while Carlton do their real application process and whatnot. Please stick around. We're going to have a lot of fun. We've got a load of content coming up. Till next time, Pom out.